Oh, we must be on. Because, I don't know. Sounds like I'm on. Oh, there's the thing. I'm definitely on. I am totally on. I'm so on right now. Let me get this up here so we can get in the chat. So as you can see, guys, this is Alex Sturgeon with the Hobbytown Hobbyplex here for the Hobbyplex Show podcast. And I got word just probably 10 minutes before I came into the studio that Will's not going to be here tonight. He's had a little thing going on, and he's getting it taken care of tonight. And I don't really know if he wants to have what it is out there or not. So I'm not going to say what's going on, but he's fine. He's safe. Everything's good. It's just that he won't be on the show tonight. So for the first time ever, I'm going to try to carry the show by myself, which clearly I don't know. I mean, we do the after hour show, so I'm used to talking to myself. I've actually talked to myself my whole life, to be honest with you. Like, that's just what I do. I just talk to myself all the time. And so, yeah. So I'm going to give you guys a rundown tonight. So I'm going to be talking about the schedule maybe for next year that I kind of came up with, including the Indoor National Series from J Concepts. They just dropped the series schedule for next year, which includes us. There is some new products that showed up at the Plex today and that came in over the weekend that I could probably hit since we don't do that very often enough. And then, of course, we got to get our pivot break in there. I'm going to try to interact with the chat. If you want me to drop everything we're doing and just do something in the chat, you got to drop a super chat. Otherwise, I'm going to ignore it until the very end. So if you got something that's pressing, I'll do my best to answer it. And but you gotta, if you want it right away, you gotta give us some money. What else do we got going on? As always, you can become a Patreon member as the new year approaches. We're gonna try to keep this going, and the studio time and the effort that my sister and her company put into this, or my brother-in-law, deserve some financial compensation. So with that, we're going to try to go forward without Will. Is Richard on here?
I am.
Hey, dude. Okay. So, before we get going with anything, two things. So I wanted to watch the South Park post-COVID.
I still need to see that.
Dude. Okay. It's funny, but it's funny in a totally different way that South Park is usually funny. So I'm not going to spoil anything. It's funny, but it's different kind of funny than the standard South Park stuff. At least that's what I thought. But with my free Paramount Plus membership for a week, I got to actually go in and watch Picard.
Nice.
And I know that we like Star Wars, Star Trek, all that good stuff here. And we've talked about, Deep Space Nine and Next Gen and all the original stuff. But
your sister Margie is currently on a deep dive rewatch of all things Star Trek right now. She's in the middle of Deep Space Nine right now.
Yeah, I recently rewatched Deep Space Nine, and I think I kind of lost interest after the Next Generation, so I never really gave it a go. And it was interesting to me. Again, it's kind of totally different from the Next Generation and what I liked about Next Generation.
Very much so.
I like going back and rewatching shows of the Next Generation to go to sleep with, because it puts me in a happy place. Because that's when, with me and my parents and stuff, we'd sit down and watch Star Trek all the time. And so it brings back those nice, warm, fuzzy feelings, and I'm able to go to sleep nicely. But, okay, so I watched the first 2 episodes when Picard first came out, and what was that, like 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years now.
Holy crap. Okay, so I kind of have a feeling I know what's going on, but I finally watched the rest of it, and holy crap. I don't get how shows like that can have a lower than, say, 90% tomato score.
No kidding. The storytelling in this series is epic.
Dude, it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And there's a couple twists. I'm not going to spoil anything if you've never seen it, but there was some of the twists and stuff that came up. And I have 2 gripes, though, and I might spoil it since we've all seen it. And our viewers are RC people. They probably don't give a crap.
Well, if they haven't seen it by this time, then
screw them. Okay, first off, I do have a little qualm with how Data looked. Like, I get that Brent Spiner's old now, and I really liked how they reused him for the doctor. I can't remember his name. The brother Soon or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it came to the actual Data, even at the beginning, I was a little put off by his hairpiece. It looked like it didn't fit very well.
I think trying to make him look Data-esque was a huge task, and they didn't really pull it off as well as they thought they would be able to.
Yeah,
because he's supposed to be ageless.
I know, exactly, and you could kind of see. I kind of saw it, and I'm like, oof.
Yeah,
man. And then the only other thing that I got that I didn't like from it, the oh god, now I'm blank spacing on the name. The doctor that tried to get Data and then didn't get Data from season 2 or whatever. What's his name? Starts with an M. Oh geez, his girlfriend, the other scientist who killed him. Can't remember her name either now. See, I'm not really prepared for this, but I kind of forgot that I had saw it, and then I wanted to tell you guys about it, and I'm like, well, since Will's not here, let's just bring it on the show anyways. Anyways, she killed that dude, that guy, right? Murdered him.
Right.
And then at the end of the show, she just gets to trounce off in the universe with Picard and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, no consequences.
No consequences whatsoever. That was the only two things that I noticed. That caught me. I was like, huh?
That was a big one.
They're not taking her to Deep Space 12 to get punished for killing a major player in cybernetics and okay, cool.
This is a different Starfleet.
I guess
that's one of the reasons why Picard got out, because he saw he saw things changing.
Yeah, that's
Starfleet
true.
that he didn't quite agree with.
And I got to say that Jonathan Frakes and Marina Sirtis really were allowed to properly act in their episode, because I thought like for instance in the Nemesis movie, which nobody likes, I kind of like it, but not really. They weren't really allowed to act. It seemed like they were confined. And in the episode, I think it's episode 6, Nepenthe or whatever.
Right.
Like both of them are allowed to actually like act.
Yeah, and to simply be the characters they're
yeah,
supposed to be.
I really liked that a lot. I thought that was a good way to
outside of the confines of Starfleet.
Yes.
Just being regular people, and they pulled it off really well.
Yes. Okay. Well, we got 16 people watching, so while I'm talking about something they probably don't give a crap about, I'm going to say one more thing too, and I thought this was really funny. I actually put this on my Facebook too. I also I made a Peacock account, because the free version, because I think I'll be able to watch Supercross on it. I think I should be able to. Anyways, so I tried. So there's this. So I tried to watch the new episodes of Saved by the Bell, the new version, and it's terrible. Like, it's completely unwatchable. It's one of the worst shows I think I've seen in a really long time.
Well, I got to ask you this though: were you expecting much more?
Well, yeah, I know. See, I like Saved by the Bell, the original one. And because I don't know, it's a 90s thing, so I'm kind of used to it.
I get it.
But the only reason why I wanted to watch it was because apparently in season 2 they make a reference to Elizabeth Berkley and her Showgirls time, and so I wanted to watch that episode, and I did, and it's actually kind of funny. That's about it. The rest of it, like the actual kids that are there, are completely. It's unwatchable. It is so bad that I'll never turn it on again. But I wanted to see the little snippet of stuff where they referenced her time in Vegas, which is hilarious.
I feel your pain. I really do, because I felt the same way when they rebooted Boy Meets World.
Yeah, Boy Meets World.
Girl Meets World.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about that. I thought it could be a really interesting take on what I thought was a really cool show, but they failed miserably and it was awful. It was disappointing.
Yeah.
I get it.
Really bad. Okay. So enough of that. Sorry. I just had to include that because I had to get some stuff off my chest today. I was going to try to bring this up with Will, but he's not here. And I know that he wouldn't have seen either one of those. So he would have just been sitting there staring at me, making, nodding his head, being bored out of his mind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's my Will impression.
Yeah. I've actually I'm looking at the watchers now. We've actually lost like 4 watchers. So I'm sorry.
Come back.
I wasted a Kickstart opening. I just realized that. Gosh darn it. I was going to do the whole, thing or whatever, but see, I'm so out of my element. Okay. One thing for you guys that are watching real quick before we're going to move on to the schedule stuff, but check this out. This is super awesome. So these are Team Losi Boss Claws. These are new in package, new old stock, basically. We didn't have these at the Hobbytown. I actually got these off of Facebook. Somebody was trying to sell them, and I ended up trading a servo for both pairs of these. These are the I was told by Richard Trujillo a long time ago that these were actually the best-selling tire of all time from Team Losi, which I kind of found hard to believe because Team Losi had been making tires for a long time, and I figured the IFMAR pin would have been that, but he said no, these were. So these worked remarkably well back in the day. When I say that, it's like 2008 to like 2011 or so when we used to do the 2.2 twin frame rail crawling stuff. But to be honest with you, I don't even know what to do with these because they're not legal in any of the competitions that we do now. And I already have a set of these on my original comp crawler that I bought back last summer. So these might just be like shelf queens pieces, which sounds weird for tires, but this is a legit, like, rare find, and I'm really excited about that. So I just wanted to show you guys. Okay, so since we're here by myself, I jotted down some stuff to talk about. And let's do first things first. There are some new products at the Hobbytown Hobbyplex. Oh, you know what we should do? We should say that this show is brought to you by PivotLendingGroup.com. And if you earn, I'm going to screw that up again. Let me try again. This show is always brought to you by Pivot Lending Group. You can find them at PivotLending.com. And if you mention our show to Don Zoller or Aiden Olson's dad, who I actually got to see this weekend because Aiden Olson raced as well. He was home for Thanksgiving from college. You can get a $500 lender credit or 0.125 off an interest rate if you go through with a home loan or refinance. There's actually a house right across the street from me that's for sale. So you should look into that. It's 147th and Young. And it's a ranch. It's the ranch that's got one extra bedroom other than mine. So when my wife and I bought our house, we have a 3-bedroom and nice ranch. Kind of small, but for us, for a family of 3, it's perfect. The one across the street from us is just a tad bit bigger. It was the next size up that we couldn't afford. So it's a nice house, and it's on a corner lot, which is nice too. But anyways, enough of that. So again, thanks to them for sponsoring the show, being able to bring it to you weekly. Remember, next week we will not have a show because it's the first Monday of the month, which means that I have the monthly managers meeting at the Plex. And so after that, I'm going home. So tonight's, you're going to have a couple weeks off with no Will. I feel bad. I feel weird about that. And then we're going to have a Christmas break. We're not going to be doing any shows during Christmas break either. So if it's anything like last year, I didn't do a YouTube video for like 2 weeks straight. And I started getting messages on YouTube asking me what was up. And I'm like, dude, it's Christmas. We'll get back on it. Okay. So today we got in the new Axial Capra rear steer. Got a couple of those. They're rear steer Category 3 rock crawlers out of the box. Really awesome vehicle. I've been thinking about getting one, but I'm got to stop spending money on RC cars, which is never going to happen, but you know what I mean. And then we got in the new version of the Sen F450. It's this big, giant dually truck with a trailer hitch. A lot of guys have been buying them and then putting their crawler or their on-road car, like drifter or whatever, on a trailer behind it. It's pretty cool looking. I think they had 2 new colors and they upgraded some stuff, so we got those in today. We got a couple more Kyosho on-road cars with some different bodies on them. See if I can find that picture real fast, because somebody was actually looking for one the other day. What did we get in? We got a 69 Chevy Camaro and a 1970 Dodge Charger. That's great. And then we got in the new DR10, so it's that Lucas Oil edition. We didn't go too crazy with that because the other versions, honestly, I've been selling that well now that it's wintertime for us, and that's kind of over. That's about it for new products. What else did we get in? I got in a new like 3-in-1 camber gauge and ride height gauge from Yeah Racing that I saw that A-Main had. We got a couple of those in. What else did we get in? Gosh darn it. We got in those new Hyrax SCX24 pre-mounted wheels and tires. That's all new stuff. Jeez. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. We've managed to get in a bunch of new stuff. But there's not anything crazy coming out. That's the one thing that I think is kind of missing. I thought I turned that down. It's like, like when the Slash came out and everybody went crazy there for a while, or when, what was the next vehicle that was kind of like that? Anytime that there's a new associated off-road car or something like that, there's some hype around it for a while. We haven't had anything like that for a bit. I thought the Infraction and the Vendetta was going to be that way, but it really hasn't taken off that much. They still sell really well because they're recently priced, but anyways. This is really weird, by the way, just being here with me trying to talk about RC stuff and not have Will chiming in. It's very odd. Anyways. Hey, Richard.
It's just like Thursday night.
No, but Thursday night's different. I'm working on stuff and I'm looking at the chat and I'm trying to actually get something done. We're here. I'm supposed to just talk about stuff for an hour and a half or whatever it is. Hey, I brought this up before we started, but I have an idea for making a Nextdoor post. You guys know what Nextdoor is?
That's that thing, the neighborhood thing.
Yeah, it's this really crappy app now where you get to complain about your neighbors.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes it different from Facebook is your address and stuff is usually on there, so people know who you are and where you live.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I saw something really funny the other day. There was a complaint about cats and cats that are outdoor cats, right? And I'm like, dude, they're cats. And this lady's like, what if it attacks my children?
What?
And I'm like, I have never in my life heard of even a feral cat, for that matter, attacking somebody's children.
Yeah, generally that doesn't happen.
So we have these every year, right around this time in the fall. Hold on. Peter Renault wants to know, what did you do to Will? I was late. Will's sick, basically, so he won't be. He might chime in the chat later. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, okay, so going back to what I have. So every fall, we usually have, for the last couple of years, a couple of big owls. Like hoot owls? Or are they barn owls, barnyard? The big ones, the really big ones.
Yeah.
All right. So one night, a couple of years ago, I took not an axial, what am I saying? Gosh darn it. An Alias, a Traxxas Alias quadcopter. Okay? It was hooting so much that it was keeping me up. And so I took this little quadcopter and I flew it right at the owl to scare it away. And it took basically getting within 2 feet of it for it to actually freak out and finally fly away and be quiet for a little while, right? But ever since then, I've been chill with it. I'm like, oh, the owls are back. That's pretty cool. And you can go outside, and if it's a nice night out and like the moon's out, you can kind of see. They're almost as big as a chimney. Like the house behind us, there's the house, and then there's a chimney, and then if you look closely here in the dark, there's a big ass owl, just
huge,
hooting away. Right?
I'm surprised that he didn't take a run at.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But here's the thing: what I want to do, I want to make a next door post, and I want to say something to the effect of, "Who is letting their stupid owls out of the house to hoot all night and poop in our yards? And what if they attack my children?" And then I want to see what happens, because inevitably somebody will take it seriously and be like,
"This is a serious issue.
This is a serious issue. Are you making fun of me and my cat post about my cats? How dare you? I'm offended."
He deserved to be beat, though.
Yeah. You know what's funny about next door too is there's been quite a few people that have moved to Nebraska, and I'm sure in other places of the country that actually, are operating somewhat normally nowadays. Uh-huh. But there's been quite a few people that have moved to Omaha from places like, say, Oregon and California. And they're getting on there and they are spouting the most ridiculous crap that I cannot believe it. Like this one lady was on there and she's like, why she literally wrote this. "Why do you guys rake your leaves?"
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, well, because if you got a lot of trees in your yard, leaves can actually damage your yard. Plus also it looks like crap. Plus they blow all over your neighbor's yard, which probably is a nice thing to do. So you should probably just be a responsible homeowner and pick up your leaves.
Yeah, this seems like the newest trend. Yeah, not only with leaf raking, but with
there was somebody on there that wanted they were talking about how they would rather just have yards grass being banned.
Which I wouldn't have a problem with.
I wouldn't have a problem with either, because then I wouldn't have to mow it.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, like you can actually grow grass here,
right?
And we don't have a water crisis here. But if you're from Southern California or Arizona, yeah, you probably got a water crisis. It sucks. I get why they don't have grass in their yards instead of rocks and stuff. Right. But I was like,
certainly not the case here.
Come on now.
Between that and and weeds.
Know your audience. For God's sake, just know your audience. It's called responsible home ownership. That's all. Mow your grass, pull your weeds, rake your leaves.
I don't understand the idea of having your yard overrun by dandelions and.
Gretchen hates that. So so my wife's hobby is basically our house, right? And I'm lucky enough to have married a woman that lets me basically spend money like it's water on stupid stuff like RC cars and planes and scooters and stuff, and food. I spend a lot of money on food. And her thing is, as long as the bills are paid, that's fine. Her thing is the house and the yard. So when like the neighbors up the street, when they don't mow, like when it gets to like jungle grass, mm-hmm. She's one of those that's like, ugh, what do I have to do to get them to mow their lawn? I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you go knock on the door and find out? Why don't you offer your services? Why don't you just go up there with our lawnmower and mow it for them? Or make Emerson do it. And but also the same thing about weeds. Like another neighbor somewhere will have just overrun yard, just weed central, dandelions everywhere. And she'll be like, "Oh God, look at that. That's terrible." So yeah, I want to make a next door post. Basically just satire.
You should do
about the owls.
Do it.
I was thinking about doing it once about raccoons too.
Possums.
Because the thing is, and Gretchen brings up the bug issue every once in a while. Like, oh my God, there's bugs in our house. And I'm like, babe, we took over a prairie where there's bugs that lived here before we did. So yeah, you're going to have bugs in your house every once in a while. It's the same sort of thing with coyotes, foxes, raccoons, rabbits. These were all things that were living here long before we moved into the neighborhood. And you see on the Nextdoor app all the time, like somebody will get on there and go, "Oh my God, I saw a coyote. Everybody hide your dogs." And it's like, yeah, they could eat your dog. Trust me, my sister and I know all about that. But we also lived in the country, I don't know. Just, it's kind of funny. I just want to blow it up every once in a while. I want to troll so hard on that thing, but I know that because my face is on there and my address is on there, and people could probably figure out where I live and who I work for too. So I don't know. If it was anonymous, I'd be all over it. It'd be great.
I don't know. I think that people like that deserve to get trolled.
I know. Okay. Back to Hobbyplex stuff. Let's see. Before we do this schedule thing, speaking of schedule, January 14th and 15th. When is that? Hang on. Let me see the date here. Calendar. December. 14th through the 16th. Yours truly will be race director. I'll be managing the Salt City Classic for High Performance Hobbies again. And if you're one of those out there that really likes dirt racing, and aren't going to take you away from the Hobbyplex carpet racing that we have going on that weekend, come on down. Get entered when they call for it. Just look up High Performance Hobbies. It's high like H-I, like High Performance Hobbies. Find them on Facebook. It's in Hutchinson, Kansas. It's the same place that had the Fall Classic. These races have been going on almost as old as Will, actually, 30-something years. So I get to go down there and run that race again. They seem to like the last time I went. So if you didn't get to go to the Fall Classic, go to the Salt City. I think it's Salt City Challenge. That's what the official name is. So, all right. I want to talk a little bit about the Hobbyplex schedule before we get to results here real quick. 2022. Sorry. So this whole year has kind of been going back to normal for us. So in the past, we've kind of managed it so we have our big race at the start of our big 10 scale race at the start of the season. And then we've always had either a big race at the start of the 8 scale season, or we just kind of went into the winter series, which is what we did this year. Last year, our winter series got interrupted by the INS race that we held in February. I was not a fan of having that race in February for a couple reasons, but one of the major ones is we get blizzards and stuff. It's possible, right? And if that happens, then crap. That race could get ruined basically because people would not be able to get here on time. And then it would just turn into a thing. We'd have to give everybody their money back, all that stuff. But also, it's cold in February. Typically, it's cold. The last couple of years before last year, it wasn't, so I wasn't that worried about it. And then all of a sudden, the one year that we scheduled something there where we needed it to not be as cold, it was like 0 for 3 weeks. So, J Concepts kind of re-engineered their INS races to move the races around to where, in my opinion, it's a lot more appropriate for some of these tracks to hold the race. For instance, Hobby Action is going to host the finals, and that's in December, and that's in Arizona in December. That's a perfect time to go to Arizona. SDRC in San Diego is running the February round this time, and that is a perfect time to go to California in February. Now, hopefully, the you-know-what crap going on and picking up steam again doesn't hit that race hard. I thought we were over that sort of thing, but we'll have to wait and see. But that being said, I think the spring races in Virginia, I kind of lobbied for us to have the spring one for a long time because I feel like our track is at its best, absolute best, in either April and May, that time period, and September and October, that time period, because it's not crazy hot, it's not crazy cold, it's kind of right in the middle. You don't get the roof drip really that bad when it's nice out. However, that being said, our summer series is really, really popular, and I didn't realize this, but it gets a lot of attention to who wins, say the mod classes and stuff. Especially because we've had guys like Tom and Alex and Mason and Jared, those guys come up for both the winter series and the summer series. So we agreed to hold the race in July. So we're having it the week of July 10th, I think is what it is. So let me see here. So July 8th through the 10th, we have the summer round of the summer series. And because of that, and thankfully we didn't get Nats. I put in for Nats, the Roar Nats. We didn't get it. I'm kind of happy we didn't get it now because that would have been the following month. And to be honest with you, that was going to be a lot of work for me. And, I like work. I don't like that much work, right? So basically, the summer series tentative schedule I want to announce right now. So the ProTech race, the ProTech off-road race is going to be April 22nd through the 24th. That's the weekend after Easter. Our first summer series race should be May 14th. The June round is still up in the air. There's a crawling event that I want to go to in Colorado, and I won't know the June round until they announce that date. So there's a crawling event going on in Ohio on the 4th of June. And my guess is they're going to try to schedule around that. So hopefully our event will be June 4th. But it'll either be the 4th or the 11th, okay? But chances are it's going to be June 4th. And then July has 5 weekends in it. And so we're going to have a third round in July. So we got May, June, July 30th will be the third round of the summer series. The week before that, yours truly is going to be running a race for Talking Fish RC in Wichita for a Nitro outdoor event. So that worked out just fine. Then the summer series August round should be August 20th. That's kind of still up in the air because we don't know when the Tamiya Championship Series finals are going to be. They're going to have the finals at the Plex, as far as I know. So hopefully it's either last weekend of August or maybe the first weekend of September. So August 20th looks legit, and then September 17th. So keep that in mind that May 14th is a lock. That's the week after Mother's Day. That's traditionally when I've always tried to have our summer series start. So May 14th. And then the truck series, you guys, we're going to do that again. That was a lot of fun. May 21st, June 25th, and August 6th, my sister's birthday, will be the truck series. So I just wanted to go over that. I kind of jotted some stuff down while I was at work the other day, looking at different dates and events and stuff like that. So it should be really good. Looking at the chat, there's something that came up that I'd like to talk about. What do you think of the RB10? Does the Plex have good stock of replacement parts? Thinking about getting a 6.3D or RB10 so I can race with my son. A 6 is fine because you got parts already and you know how to fix it. So my take on the RB10 is that I think we should start selling that more to Plexers as much as we sell like a Slash or say an Arm of Granite. And I basically break it down to people now in the store. I'm like, if you want to race and you think you're going to go through it, then the RB10's for you, because there's a lot of that car that is the same plastic, same material as the 6 line of cars. We do carry parts for it. I think we got arms, spindles, shock towers. A lot of it's B5 stuff that we've already had. So it didn't really take up a lot of space on the shelf to get parts in for that car. So I think that car out of the box with good tires on it. So next year's Enduro, I think I'm going to have an RB10. I think I'm going to try to run the Enduro with the RB10 and put good tires on it because it's a rear motor car. You can run a full-size battery pack. So if I get a couple like 8,000 milliamp hour batteries, I want to run the Enduro with it. I think it's pretty cool. So, yep, we've been selling them, and I actually drove one the other day. It was pretty good. I liked it. It was really good. Okay. Results from this weekend. I'd like to go over that real quick. Tyler, the summer series is one race shorter because the way that I usually schedule the summer series is at some point in the summer, either July or August, there's 5 weekends, right? And so I always try to squeeze in another round in one of those months. And because July is that month, then it's already taken up what would traditionally have been our third round of the summer series. So it's going to be best 4 out of 5. And I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with race dates with that, because the whole point of the summer series was to be basically once a month. So if you weren't club racing weekly at our place, you could still enjoy the summer series by coming once a month. And I don't really like to add to that. Like when we did the Nats, we tried to hammer all the summer series races before the Nats in August. And looking back on it, like we should have just left it alone and finished it in September like we always do, but we didn't. And then September got really lame. It killed all the momentum for our race series. So I wasn't gonna make that same mistake again. Now, if we would have had the Nats in August again, we probably wouldn't have had an August round at all, and would have just went right to September. And I might have even stretched it into October. But since we didn't get the Nats, and to be honest with you, we probably don't even need to do the Nats now. If we're going to hold the INS in summer every year, for me personally, like, why? I might think about it again and try again, but just knowing that it would be in August when we're holding a July round of the INS. So we're already going to get a 300 entry race, and some pros are going to come in, and it's going to be a fairly big deal. It's just one of those things. Why would you stress yourself out even more? So scheduling's tough too, because there's stuff that I want to do personally. Like one year, I scheduled the summer series around my mountain bike racing back when I was fit and was doing that here in Nebraska. And then every once in a while, you'll get somebody that is bummed out because it got scheduled on, say, a dirt bike race or Knoxville Nationals, something like that, and they can't make it, so it kind of ruins their whole deal. But all in all, when it comes to scheduling for the Hobbyplex, I kind of have to just do what's best for the store and kind of not worry about a lot of that. I kind of look at where some long-standing traditional races have been, but to be honest with you, nowadays, like the summer series is a long-standing traditional thing. So if anything, nowadays, I feel like other places should be looking at us and going, yeah, we don't want to put that right there because that's the summer series race, or that's an INS race, or that's the Pro Tech race. We don't want to, if you really want to try to get as many travel racers as you can, you probably should avoid being on top or even, a week away from any of our long-standing original races, right? So, okay. I want to go over results real fast. We had a really good weekend. We didn't race Friday because of Black Friday, and we were very busy up in the store like we should be. There's some good coupons out there right now from Hobbytown Corporate that you can use at our store. So if you're not done Christmas shopping, or if you haven't even started on it, you can take advantage of that. I think right now it's a $20 off $125 purchase. So let's say you get, let's say you need a new speed controller, right? Let's say you need the new Hobby Wing Just Stock Pro or whatever. I think they're $129. There you go. Get $20 off of that. It's like buying a $100 ESC. Really, now that I've been doing this for as long as I have, when it comes to the health of your local hobby store, basically the month of November and December can really either in many ways make or break your local hobby store. So if you're not local to us, you watch your show from, say, Pennsylvania or something, and you have a local hobby shop, I would definitely recommend doing what you can, as long as they're not douche canoes. I've known some hobby stores where they weren't going to last anyways because they were not very nice to people, and luckily, I don't think that's us. So we really appreciate everybody's support, of course. Let me get in here. Hobbyplex. There's now 3 of them in there. Results. So we had, how many entries did we have? So Thanksgiving weekend, we had 51 entries, and I was pretty happy with that. You never know when it comes to having races on the holidays. And in the past, we haven't raced on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, but nowadays I kind of feel like it's kind of far enough away from Thanksgiving itself, and it's the day after everybody's supposed to go out and go shop or whatever it is, or watch football, at least for Nebraska. And so I didn't really mind having it there. And we still had a good club race day. Not the biggest, certainly not the smallest. We had lower mains and 13.5, expert, and independent buggy, which is kind of par for the course now. Last week we only had 6 13.5 wheelers. This week we had like 15 again, something in that range. So all in all, it was a really good day. We got done at a very reasonable time. I think our last race was at 6:30. We start at 1:30, so that's 5 hours of racing. That's really good. Everybody did a really good job being on time. The track held up really well. I mean, just everything in general about what we got going on right now is positive. That's the way that we've tried to shape it, especially the last, I'd say since like 2016, maybe something like that. We had a lot of kids kind of grow up and kind of leave the hobby, and for a little while there, I was thinking, man, are we ever going to get back to the numbers that we were getting in like 2012 and stuff? I was really worried there for a little bit. And I feel like the focus away from, don't take this the wrong way, but the pros and the advanced racers, and really focusing on the beginner racers, bringing Family Friday Off-Road as a thing instead of Flame Out Friday Off-Road. I think that really kind of helped turn the corner, because it's a good night to bring your kids out and to race, and you kind of boot out you try to not boot out, but I guess just have a different environment from the guys that would yell and scream and take it seriously, to something where the yelling and screaming is coming from the kids having fun, So it's kind of nice that even on a Thanksgiving weekend that we can have a really good turnout for a club race. Plexback. So we had Connor Hausch taking the TQ and a win. Carson Sanders got a solid second, and Elliot Delaire from the 4th qualifying spot ended up finishing 3rd. Isabella flip places with him for 4th. Motega, Clancy, and Chris Kinzer, Nick Chestnut, and Jamie Peevler. Jamie actually wasn't there, but his dad didn't want him to miss out on the series, so he paid for his entry. So that's fine. I don't mind that at all. The battle here for 3rd between Elliot, Isabella, Motega, Chris, and Nick was nuts. Like, everybody would crash and then give up their spot, and then crash again and then pick up their spot. I mean, it was great. It really was. That being said, Connor was kind of gone. I think Connor's going to move up here as soon as this is over. He'll move up to regular 13.5 and 21.5. Not that one. Where am I at? So then we had Stadium Trucks. Stadium Truck's the weird one this year. Last year I raced Stadium Truck in the Syndicate, and we had 2 heats almost every single time. 12 to 15 trucks. And this year we've had maybe 3 or 4. And that kind of continues here. Chance Rolk with the TQ and win. Jake Poteet qualified 2nd, finished 2nd. TJ Williams qualified 3rd, finished 3rd. And Wyatt Lenners unfortunately broke in the very opening lap. And I felt devastated for him because he was only running 1 class. And that sucks when that happens. TJ actually had 2nd for a little while, and then it just ended up working out the way that it worked out. Jake and TJ finished 0.6 of a second apart there at the end. So they, even Chance had kind of a weird hiccup or two, and TJ was leading for a little bit, and then it sort of worked itself out about halfway through the race. So still a lot of fun, even though there's only 4 of them. Expert, you had Chance Rolk taking the TQ in a win. Mike Sanders finished second. John Berdine finished third. It probably should have been closer. Chance Rolk kind of just drove away from everybody. And Mike and John were pretty close for a majority of that race. But first and second were kind of locked in. John dropped down hard at the second lap and then had to just work his way up. And that was the big comeback of the day because he was dead last, I think, after that first lap. So he worked himself all the way back up to third in 6 minutes. And then Corey Tannehill, who had to bump, ended up finishing fourth. Janet Peevler was fifth. Phil Palmer was sixth. TJ Williams was seventh. And Jake Poteet was eighth. And then Mod was pretty crazy. They're kind of talking about it in the chat here. Ethan Delaire, at this point, I don't even worry about Ethan. Like he's gonna drive away from everybody. To be honest with you, there's not anybody out on his level on carpet locally. He's got us by his fast lap was a 12.4, and I think the next fastest lap was a 12.8 or 12.9 from Jackson or Caden. So he's got us by almost a half second per lap, and the best you can do is hope to be on the lead same lap as him, I guess. That didn't happen here, but that's kind of what I was shooting for. I was like, all right, if I can just be on the same lap, I'll be good. And then I ended up getting lapped with like 2 minutes left to go, I think, or something like that. All these races were on the YouTube live stream, and it's actually got, I think, 250 plus views, which is a little bit higher than the normal playbacks. So people have been watching it, you guys. So I finished second. I ended up in second about a minute in, and then just sort of held everybody off. I almost gave it away, but Caden also crashed at the same time. And since I crashed first, I got the Marshall first. So it kind of just worked itself out. For me personally, I need to keep doing that, getting seconds, and I guess maybe hoping Ethan breaks or something if I want to get a win. I'm not saying that I couldn't, but let's be real here. I probably can't compete for the actual win head-to-head with Ethan right now on carpet. David Peevler finished third. He was fast all day. All of us were right on the edge of being on the same lap as Ethan in qualifying. Me, David, Caden, Jackson, Aiden Olson. But I just crashed less in the main, basically. Caden Berdine snuck around Jackson Anderson on the very last lap to get fourth. They finished 0.4 of a second apart. I watched it on video to see what happened. And that was brutal. Brutal for Jackson because he was basically in third. And then in the next thing you know, he's in fifth. So Jackson finished fifth. Aiden Olson, again, here from Thanksgiving, out of college for the weekend, came to race with us. And again, he was qualifying high up there and then ended up qualifying fifth, kind of finished sixth. And then Alex Vanderbeek showed up at the last second with no practice. I don't know what he had for a setup on his car, but it took him 2 rounds of qualifying to kind of figure it out a little bit. And then in the main, he was right behind me for a little while. Then he was right behind David for a little while. And then the next thing you know, I ended up driving around the yellow car while he was upside down on the straightaway to put a lap on him. So he just needs more practice on the carpet. I think it's been quite a while since he's actually raced on the carpet. So, and then Mitchell Pavel finished 8th, and that was Mod. Mod was crazy. I think the first 3 minutes, 2nd through 7th, were basically a straightaway apart. I mean, it was intense. And that's the first time in a long time that I've shaken. Like after the race was over, my adrenaline was pumping so much that I actually started to shake a little bit. And that normally doesn't happen. So that's how close and exciting of a race it was. And then I got to say, I know I've said it on here before, but, we are truly blessed. I mean, we're one of the few tracks. If you ever want to look at Live RC's results from the top tracks that you know of around the country, OCRC, SDRC, NorCal Hobbies, Fastlane, who else? Thunder Road, anywhere like that. We are one of the few places that has a consistent mod class, and that's on the dirt and on the carpet, right? One of the very few places. And to be honest with you, if we didn't race mod, I mean, I would probably race expert stock, but I wouldn't like it, right? I love racing modified. Modified two-wheel buggy is such a pure RC car racing class that's why it's my favorite, because it's so difficult, and the speed is fast. You're controlling something that shouldn't be able to be controlled, especially on carpet, right? And I've got a 5.5 in my car, so I don't know. We are super lucky to be able to have a mod class, and to be honest with you, also that makes all of us better. The fact that we get to race mod every single week, nonstop, and on carpet, it's so hard that when we go back to dirt on the big track, all of us that have been racing weekly on the carpet, we're going to think it's easy, because it kind of feels that way when you get back to the big track. As long as your car's got some traction, your tire setup's good, that big track is going to feel slow. So I'm just I don't know. I'm really thankful that you guys come every week to race mod with me. So, off my soapbox now. Independent two-wheel drive buggy. TJ Williams taking the TQ and a win, kind of by a lot in this one. Phil Palmer, Josh McMullen, Ronnie Wint, Lance Murray, good finish there for Lance. Rod Case, Andrew Thomas, and Derek Prainer. This is Derek's official first day main. He bumped up from the B. I think he just started racing last week, and he got a Losi car. His car's looking really good on the carpet. And then 13.5 wheeler was our last race. I had to move some stuff around just to make sure we had enough marshals for everybody. Chance got another TQ and a win. John Berding with a solid second. Jackson Anderson raced 13.5 this week, finished third. Sanders was fourth. Ronnie Wint was fifth. Andrew Thomas was sixth. Jana Peevler was seventh. David Peevler was eighth. Yes, John, you're right. I did do that, and luckily it's buried in there. So there you go. There's your races. And since we don't have anything on Friday or Sunday, and we got a little bit of time, I'm going to go to the points real fast, because the point series is finally starting to kind of take shape. And I want to talk about it a little bit here. So where's the Saturday at? There we go. All right, so points. Let's talk points. Syndicate. Off-Road Syndicate. Coolest name for a point series in all of RC. So in 13.5, now remember you get 3 drops. So we have, I believe it's 10 races. You get 3 drops. Chance Rolk right now is leading 13.5 wheeler. He missed the first 3 weeks in this class, but then has had 2 wins and a TQ in second. So he's got 302 points. John Berding has missed 2 weeks. He's got a 95 in there. And that's the difference between, it's 2 points. So then Mike Sanders is back there in third. He's about 4 points off. John Kinzer didn't race this weekend. He's 1 point off of Mike. Nathan Hoganmiller, he has missed 3 weeks straight now. So hopefully that's it. He'll be able to come back and race the rest of them and not get tossed at 293. So that middle pack, basically from third to fifth, is pretty close. It might even tighten up as we get a couple more weeks in. Then you got David Peevler in 6, Ronnie Wint, Joe Schnoes, Andrew Thomas, and Lance Murray right now is 4 points ahead of Jana for 10th place. And then in Stadium Truck, you got those 4. Chance Rolk, pretty big lead over TJ Williams. TJ's got 1 point over Jake Poteet. So that's probably gonna be the race to watch, basically, between those two. And then let's move this over. Plexspec. Plexspec's pretty cool. Like I said, Connor Hausch kind of has a hold on this one. He's won 4 weeks now, and he's got a 93 his first week out that he raced. So basically 7 out of 10. So if he's got if he gets 2 more wins and TQ and wins, there's no chance anybody else is going to get him. We might just force him to race 13.5 in January. So no sandbagging, but if you basically, I think if you get like second or more for the next 2 races, then you pretty much got it locked up. Carson Sanders has a 3-point lead over Jamie Peevler. Jamie Peevler's got 1 point over Ryan Nemec. Nemec wasn't here this weekend. Isabella McMullen and Sawyer Haley are tied right now for 5th. And then, let's see, Elliot Delaire has officially missed too many races, but he's still showing the points. Then Nick, Chris, and Lakota. Expert stock. You got Mike Sanders and Chance Rolk in a tie. Chance missed those first 3 weeks of racing, so he's got no room for error. And Mike has missed 2, and he has got a 98 for a low score. And Chance's low score right now is a 97, so that's kind of where I think that's where the tiebreak comes into play at. John Berdine only 1 point behind him, so that 3 racer trio. That's a dumb thing to say. That 3 racer trio. That doesn't make any sense. Those 3 racers are going to be battling for the win here in Expert Stock. A little ways back is Jake Poteet, Joe Schnoes, Corey Tannehill, Jana Peevler, TJ Williams, Nate Hogan-Miller, and Daniel Bender right now has a 2-point lead for 10th. We're only giving away awards down to 3rd, so it's more about pride points than anything when it comes to the rest of the field. Independent Buggy, you got TJ Williams with a 3-point lead over Joe Schnoes. Joe wasn't here this weekend. Neither was Nate Hogan-Miller. He's only 1 point behind Joe. Bender's only 1 point behind Nate. And Phil is only 1 point right now behind Daniel. So that is a very tight race for Independent Buggy. That's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the way. Josh McMullen right now shown in 6th. And then Ronnie Wint, Rod Case, Lance Murray, and Andrew Thomas breaking into the top 10. We have had 22 different Independent Buggy participants. That's pretty cool. Mod 2-wheel drive. Ethan Delaire's got a big lead, 5 points over the rest of the field. His 3 drops are basically no-shows, so he's got no room for error, though. So if he's got a bad break or something like that, that could tighten up. Brian Burns sitting second with 298. Jackson at 296. I'm at 296. I'm tied with Jackson, but I have the 2 missing races, which means that I've got the lower tiebreak. Caden Berdine is behind us, 1 point back in 5th. And then David Peevler is about 4 points off of Caden. Mitchell Pavel, Dayton Mosier, and then I think it showed Aiden, but all those guys I think have missed too many weeks. So basically right now there's 7 eligible in the points. I think the race for 2nd and 3rd is really going to tighten up once we get a few more races in. That's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. And then I think that's it. Is that it? Mod 2-wheel drive. Plex spec. Stadium truck 13.5. Yeah, that's it. So, okay. There's some questions in the chat and that we'll get to. And for now, we'll do our pivot break really quick and then come back, hit the chat, and then we'll go. It's a pretty short show tonight, but that's what happens when Will's not here. So let's go.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Yeah!
This is a Pivot Lending Update with David Olson and Don Zoller. Get some.
This is David Olson from Pivot Lending Group and wanted to go through some new programs that we have onboarded and that are on the horizon. Pretty exciting stuff for the buyers that are coming into the middle of the spring purchase season, as well as opening up the June buying season and summer buying season. We have a lock and shop program now. So you can come into Pivot Lending for a small deposit. You can actually lock a interest rate or reserve your interest rate for X period of time while you're out looking for a home. This is really beneficial because just within the last probably 5 months, the interest rates have gone up about 50 basis points. So where we were at below, close to hovering around 2.5, below 3 for sure on a 30-year, we jumped up to about 3.75. Now we're back down to around that 3 range. but definitely higher than where we're at the first of the year. Come down a little bit, and we're looking for probably another correction. We're moving up as inflation heats up. So if you're out looking for a house and you know that you're pretty confident you're going to find something within the next 90 days or the next 120 days, give us a call on that, because I can save you quite a bit of money over the long term, and the interest, especially if there's that jump again, as far as some of the job numbers and inflationary things that are coming out. So lock and shop. When you're calling in, you want to ask for Don Zoller, ask for me. You can call me on my cell anytime, 402-881-5951, and also reach out to Don. So the lock and shop program, we're excited about long-term locks. We can go out to a year on a long-term lock. So if you are in the market for new construction and you're looking to have a finish date within, I'd say 8 to 12 months or 6 to 8 months, we've got a really a great long-term lock program, so you can give us a call and ask about that. In addition to the lock and shop program, the long-term rate program, we're putting our finishing touches on an I-10 program. So the I-10 programs are great for those folks that have the tax identification number instead of a Social Security number, and you're looking to purchase a home or refinance. Give us a call.
David Olson, NMLS 16099. Don Zoller, NMLS 277589. Pivot Lending, NMLS 109995.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
This is a part of the show where normally I look at Facebook and something makes me really mad, and then I got to talk to Will about it. But I didn't find anything on Facebook to get mad at. You ever notice how you're having a nice day, and then like you find something on Facebook or Reddit that really just makes you really mad, and then it ruins your whole day? That's what that's usually like.
Well, you kind of covered that with Nextdoor.
I did. The Nextdoor thing. Yeah. I forgot to mention that I finally started building the SCX10 SCX24 course at the Plex. So I am going to really hit it hard tomorrow because I got really nothing to do on the track, on the dirt track. That's next week when we get ready for the Techno series. So tomorrow I'm really going to hit it hard. We should have at least part of an operational actual SCX24 course. I would hope maybe by the end of the week. If basically I'm doing these 2x4 foot panels, and I got one panel already started. I need to cover it with plaster cloth, paint it, and then make sure that there's traction and grip and stuff. But I really like what we're doing with that. So basically the best video that the Hobbyplex Show YouTube channel has ever had, it's got like 60,000 views or something like that now, and it's a 9-minute video of the crawler course that I did downstairs, the 110 scale crawler course. Well, the thing is, like last year, nobody really came in and used it, and so we were kind of struggling a little bit for pit space at the INS last year. I know that the Techno series a couple weeks ago, we were right on the edge of running out of pit spots. So I've come up with this idea of being able to add 8 more pit spots in that whole area while still having a crawler course. So when we don't need the crawler course, we can pick up these panels. They're going to be really light too, which is nice. We can pick up these panels and we can store them somewhere. And then when the races are over, we can take those panels and we can put them right back. So pit space will be a little bit less of a problem going forward. And definitely cleaned up the area too. I don't know if any of you guys that are on the chat right now were there on like last Friday, but we actually laid down carpet over the top of that a couple of years ago, and then this is the first time that we ever picked it up, and it had like a quarter inch of dirt underneath of it, fine like dust. You know that dust we get all over the place, and because we have a dirt track connected to us. Just think of that not being shop vac every Tuesday like I do for like 3 years straight. That's what was there. It was nasty. It was bad. It like got into my teeth. Like when I'm like picking it up and moving it, and I could like taste it, and it was all gritty and stuff. So it was terrible. But it's cleaned up now, and it's gonna be really nice when it's all done. I'm really excited about it. Just one more thing for me to spend a ridiculous amount of money on is SCX24 hop up. So Right? Woe is me. Chat. Let's get into the chat. Jackson says he would make the show more interesting, just saying, and annoying. I would go on the side of annoying if I had you on. I was actually thinking on the way here, because I got told that Will wasn't going to be here while I was on the road to come here, which is like a 20-minute drive. And I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? So I started thinking about who maybe I could send a link to and get them on the show. And Jackson, you will know that you actually did come up in my mind. And then I went, nah. What do people line the inside of nitro bodies to keep the fuel from eating the paint? So there's, I can't remember what it's called, but there is this like chrome looking tape that's made, and it's almost like a heat tape. And I think either Kyosho makes it, or there's a generic version that it's used for something else, but it just gets cut up in there, and I will have to look for it. I don't remember what it's called, but I know what it looks like. It's this chrome looking heat tape. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell us. We'll see what happens when we get down there. Is the slipper eliminator worth the money? No, I don't like slipper eliminators. I think you're better off using your slipper clutch. They're talking about my tiny name. Oh, it's not even there anymore. I've got these tiny hands and names. I've got these tiny names. They're talking about the beef jerky, the deer jerky. Sorry. So Nick Nuthouse made deer jerky and he brought it to the Plex. I had some of your deer sausage with the cheese in it. That was phenomenal. And then of course the jerky that I took, Emerson and I and Gretchen all shared some today, and it was really, really good. I love deer season. Peter was surprised that Will's not here in the chat. That's pretty funny. Chris Hardison said I should listen to the audio books of Picard, book 1 and 2. Yeah, I should. I don't know when I have time to. Basically, when I like to listen to stuff is when I'm working on the track, because I'm usually by myself and I got my headphones on while I'm on the tractor. That's always a good time. I think I listened to the Ahsoka audiobook once when I was building a track. So I might look into that. Maybe I can get that done. Jackson says, J Concepts released the sidewall supports for 1/10 Buggy and 8th Buggy tires today. I did see something about that. I'm going to get in there and order them tonight when I get home for the store and see what happens. So I think for a track like ours, out on the dirt, when the grip really comes up like it does, probably a good thing to have. Because, we've been gluing the outside of the front tires for a while now when the grip comes up. So I can see that also being useful just to keep the outside edge really hard. So it just skips over stuff instead of getting into the cracks and everything. Cameron Hale, he also agrees that it was freaking cold in February this year. Yes, it was. We talked about the Summer Series being 5 races instead of 6 this season, and probably all the seasons going forward now, as long as we have the INS race in July. So, again, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with race dates and all that stuff, because I know that your time and your money is precious to you. So we don't want to have to make things too crazy for everybody. The guys, I think it was Andy and TJ and John Haas. I think Will. Who else did I see down there? Dustin Hosick, Alex Vanderbeek. They all came and practiced on Sunday since we didn't have anything going on. They got in some good track time. Did water the track Sunday night before I went home just because some of the doors were open. So, Peter Renault on here. He's one of our Patreon members. Saying that the live stream on Saturday had it all. Heard a Lions joke, big, huge Fro song, and all the swear words. I've got to watch the swear words. I even let one slip. I forgot that I'm right next to the camera when it was going, so that's not a good thing. Daniel wants to know if I'm going to try out the wall supports from J Concepts, and I don't know. Maybe I'm going to let Will use them first, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do. So that's how that usually works. I let Will do all that stuff, and then I just copy what he's doing, or not. Like our setups on our cars are completely different, so I don't always copy everything. Bill Naresco, what's your current color scheme for your builds? Depends on how much time I have. I think you're talking about the body. So my Schumacher car, for instance, is all white. And that's only because I wanted to run it and I didn't have... The Schumacher body was its own body and I didn't have anything that fit it other than what came with it. And I don't paint. That's part of the hobby that I really suck at and I don't like doing. So all my bodies that I have, my red, white, and black color scheme, I give to my friend who paints them for me, and I let him go from there. So usually, if I do something like my crawler stuff, I'll usually paint my own bodies, and it's a white, red, black kind of color scheme. A lot of it comes from a lot of my crawling stuff and a lot of my short course stuff that I've done comes from the fact that I always was a huge Roger Mears fan, so I always liked the red, white, and blue Nissan. That's kind of where my colors came from originally, was that. And so yeah, my crawler stuff's kind of that way. My race cars, though, normally I give the bodies to my buddy who paints them for me. After I got to pay him, of course, but if I'm lazy or if I'm in a hurry, unfortunately, they usually get one shots, and that's usually white, plain and simple. Again, because I suck at it. I suck at painting. That being said, what do I got going on? I still have to build my regulator clodbuster. With I think I'm going to use Traxxas GTR shocks for that. I still have to build my Vanquish Phoenix. I've had that for almost a month now, and I haven't built it yet. And then I'm going to be getting a B3 .6 here for dirt pretty soon again. I have to build that one. Oh, and I got a monster beetle that I'm going to build and put on the shelf too, and that I've had for like 2 years in a box. So I have a whole bunch of stuff lined up for what I'm going to be building, and some of it I'm going to be making videos on. The regulator and the Vanquish for sure. Maybe the monster beetle, but not the B6.3. You guys have all seen that already. So, what do we got on here? Will Brenton is on the chat talking about what's going on. So basically, okay, so he's talking about it now. So we'll talk about it here real quick. Basically, he was having a nosebleed before we were getting going, and it wouldn't stop. So his nose just kept on bleeding out. So he couldn't be on the show tonight. So they're going to try to cauterize it, it sounds like. So they're going to stick something really hot up there, jam it up there, and stop the bleeding, which sounds extraordinarily crazy and scary. Glad it's not me. So hopefully feels better. He hasn't texted me anything recently. Could you just imagine getting something like hot stuck up your nose? I couldn't at all. That would not be my thing. That'd be terrible. Okay. Anyways, what changes are you planning for the Techno series next week? So next week's going to be a crazy week. So, the first Techno series, the track for that was actually built about 3 weeks prior, and we just rode with it. This one, I am going to change the landing after the middle jumps, the step-on triple. We're going to be going diagonal back to the step-up to get on the dirt oval. We're going to be using the entire section of the middle of dirt oval, and then we're going to be turning around and coming back towards us into the pits. So there may or may not be a whoop section now in the middle of the oval, which the oval guys are going to be all ticked off about. Maybe. I don't know. They just don't have to go there, right? And then I think we're going to do a big fat roller after the step-on triple, and then it's going to be a big roller, and you'll kick back to the backside. So only changing one or two things, but we kind of got to keep it fresh. Plus, it helps the dirt keep traction and stuff too. So next week's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be one of those deals where I'm there all night Monday and all day Tuesday, and probably going in, I'll probably finish it on Wednesday night after I get done working. So, Peter Renault, what is the scooter bike I'm getting? It's called a Honda Navi. The more that I watch on it, so all these YouTubers finally got a chance to go ride it, and they did a video on it. That most of them came out this week, and the more that I see about it, the more happy and excited I'm getting. So they had it. I wanted to know really how fast it actually went, and they had that thing going 55 on a 55 mile per hour road. They had it barely getting up to 55. I mean, it was really struggling. And I know that I weigh a lot, so if it can get up to 50, or 45, I'm good, because the road that I'm going to take from my house to the Hobbyplex, its speed limit is 45, which we all know we don't do the speed limit. So if I can do 50 on it, dude, I'm going to be riding that almost every day that I can, saving gas money, not putting miles on my truck. I cannot wait for spring this year. I'm beyond excited for spring.
Hey, let me stop you right there just for a second.
Yeah.
Will, can you hear us?
Yeah, I think I can.
Oh, we got Will on the show.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Can Alex? Or I can't hear Alex.
Oh, you can't?
Oh,
Oh, that sucks.
I got Will on the phone.
No. I can hear him in the background.
Oh, really? Hey, Will.
Alex said, hey, Will.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, if anybody wants to know what happened to me tonight, I was at home minding my own business, and I got a really bad nosebleed, and I went to the emergency room to have it cauterized.
Dude, it sounds like it. Like, you sound like you've got a stuffy nose.
I sent Alex a picture of my bloody stuff. It was so gross. I had to share it with him.
So apparently Will uses tampons to...
Yeah. I'll use one of my wife's tampons and stick a tampon on my nose.
Well,
I bled through 4 or 3 of them. I add one every time I tell the story, but so now we're up to 5. So I bled through 5 of them.
That's what they're designed for.
And it was just geyser style blood, Evil Dead style blood running out my nose. And so they put a thing up there and made it so it didn't bleed no more. And they told me to use Afrin nose spray. Isn't that habit forming? I don't know.
It is habit forming.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I was all right. Well, I guess I'm using this for the rest of my life.
I had an aunt who used nose spray all the time, and it turns out it was actually just cocaine.
What did Alex say? I can't hear him.
He said... He said he had an aunt who used nose spray, but later found out it was just cocaine.
Yeah.
That's a true story, by the way. My Aunt Kay.
All right.
Hope she's not listening. I doubt it.
I guess I just thought I'd get on tonight for my fans. I'm actually driving home right now, but anyway, I just thought I'd try to drop in for everybody that wants to hear from me.
Awesome.
Yeah, this has been weird without him, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Alex said it's been really weird without you.
Oh, I'm sure. I bet it's just like Garth when Wayne got fired from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
And he's in I'm having a good time.
Not.
Yeah,
Not.
not.
All right, cool.
All right.
Thanks,
All right,
Will.
Well, yep. See you guys later. All right. Bye.
All right. Well, hopefully that came through on the YouTube.
I'm hoping it did. It should have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is. There's people saying on here, Will, so they heard it.
Wonderful.
That's great. Going back through the chat. We're almost done. Something about duct tape for doing home duct work. Oh, Daniel was the one that was asking about the slipper eliminator. I'm sorry. I don't think so. I think slipper eliminators just make your diff go bad. And I guess if you got a gear diff, then it probably doesn't matter, but I don't know. Nick Nuthouse, what parts should I keep handy to fix the SCX24? Honestly, all you really need are motors. Those things don't really break, but the motors go bad. And we actually just got in some hot racing SCX24 heat sinks, motor heat sinks that clip onto the motor. And we'll see if those keep people's motors from blowing up. Because basically the motors get really hot. And they're so tiny that they wear out really fast. So honestly, just the motors. You don't really see them break that much. Jackson's wondering if those new J Concept sidewall things would work on carpet tires. I don't think so. I think carpet tires fit so tight onto our wheels that I don't think I doubt they would work, to be honest with you. Peter says he wants to build a Tamiya Frog. Yeah. I'm still waiting on the re-release of the King Cab, the Nissan King Cab. If they re-release that and I could buy one, I'd be so happy, because the amount of money that people want for a nice King Cab on eBay is ridiculous. It's stupid. And even somebody as hardcore of a fan as I am, I wouldn't pay that much money for a Roger Mears Nissan King Cab from Tamiya. Okay, that's it. We got through the chat. We talked about results. We talked about our upcoming schedule. We got Will on the show. I think we're good. I'm going to go home a little bit early tonight. It's going to be nice. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what else to talk about.
Pivot.
Oh, yeah, we got to do the pivot thing. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, this show is brought to you by Pivot Lending Group. You can find them at pivotlending.com. Mention our show to Don Zoller or Aiden Olson's dad, and you can get yourself 0.125 interest rate reduction or $500 lender credit. Your choice. So, okay. I think we had at one point like 29 viewers tonight with me all by myself. That's amazing. Let's see. So this weekend we've got Family Friday, Off-Road on Friday. We have the Carpet Off-Road Syndicate on Saturday, and I think we have On-Road actually on Sunday. I think that completes the December round of On-Road actually, and then the week after that's Dirt Oval, I think. I don't know. Sundays are such a blur to me because I'm either working or I'm off. I never really get involved in that. Oh, by the way, my birthday is December 3rd, this Friday. So you should all come out for Family Friday Off-Road, and there may or may not be cupcakes. So I'm going to be 43. 43. Yeah, 43. Wow. Okay. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll try to do an after hours this week. I don't really have anything going on, so I think Thursday, as long as I don't get too stressed out at work, we should be doing something Thursday night. We didn't have one last Thursday.
Super chat. Whoops.
Did we get one?
No.
Man, you got me all excited. I was like pondering life over here, and I hear super chat, and I'm like, yeah, and then no, nothing. Damn it. Where was I at? I was at 43. I'm 43. Now I'm lost. I don't even know what I was talking about. It probably didn't matter that much. Anyway, oh yeah, my birthday. Yeah. So be there Friday. I'll be racing e-buggy on Friday. There'll probably be an after-hour show Thursday. We haven't had one the last couple weeks because 2 weeks ago I got off of work like super late and I honestly just didn't feel like it. And then last week was Thanksgiving, obviously. So there you go. Okay, for real now, I'm going to take off. I will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're all part of our show. And make sure that you subscribe, like, tell your friends if you haven't. We'll be going.